Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our workshop. And here is our presenter, Ebony Wilson, with Ebony's Safe Space to talk to us about parenting and setting healthy boundaries. Thanks, Ebony.
No problem, Victoria. Thank you so much. As Vicki had shared, my name is Ebony Wilson. For those who may not know me, I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I am the CEO and lead clinician of Ebony Safe Space. We are a mental health company based in the Antelope Valley. We provide individual therapy, group therapy, mental health and emotional workshops, as well as guest speaking. And we're so excited. I think we are on like presentation 6 with CSUN Family Focus Resource Center. So thank you so much for having me. So today we'll be talking a little bit about parenting and mostly about setting healthy boundaries, because I know the focus of this group is a parenting group for mostly parents. And my background is in mental health. So we'll talk a lot about how do parents set healthy boundaries for themselves? How do they show up for themselves? My biggest thing is you cannot pour from an empty cup, right? So I'll share my screen with you. Can everyone see the table of content?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So we'll go over the principles of positive parenting. We'll go over self-love. We'll have a mindfulness moment. I do know that we are recording. So during the mindfulness moment, this will be a moment that you sit and reflect. You don't have to speak, you don't have to share, but I definitely want you to reflect and think about some of the questions I'll be asking. You notice what's coming up for you, and then during the questions and the debrief, if you keep kind of that tracker of what was coming up for you during that mindfulness moment, we can share and kind of debrief that at the end if you would like to do so. We're going to talk about seeing the signs of creating boundaries. We'll go over some affirmations that I want you guys to start telling yourselves. Excuse my voice today. And then we'll go into questions. The principles of positive parenting. Positive parenting is based on several core principles that guide parents in building a healthy relationship with their children. The first one is respecting your child's individuality. That's respecting their strengths, acknowledging their weaknesses, their interests, and their needs. I think I shared with some of you guys, I had this group before, I think last month, and I shared about my brother Terry. He's 40 now. He grew up with a learning disability his entire life, but Terry is phenomenal and knowledgeable in technology and music. You can tell Terry what you can ask him. What album did Michael Jackson come out with in the 1980s? He's going to tell you the name of the album, the year it came out, the features on the album, and he just has that strength because I can't remember what happened 2 weeks ago. And so when I engage with my brother, those are some things that I talk about. You know, what music are you listening to lately? What do you think about this album that just came out? Because I know this is something that he's knowledgeable in. This is his strength. So I'm going to create that atmosphere to let him shine on his strengths, and it becomes empowering, and it also builds self esteem for them. I today's Tuesday, but for some reason I wanted to say amen. Okay, that's funny to me. The next one is clear communication. Clear communication involves active listening, expressing empathy, using age appropriate language, and avoiding judgment or punishment for the emotion, not necessarily the behavior, because there will be consequences for behavior because we want to promote and reinforce positive coping strategies. But we have to acknowledge their feelings and validate their feelings, even if we still have to set that boundary, if that makes sense. I also want to pull to the curb about active listening because sometimes we get so busy and so overwhelmed and so overstimulated that we'll ask, "Hey, bud, how was your day?" while we're driving, while we're tending to other things. And are we really actively listening? What I like to tell my clients and parents, active listening involves pausing for a second. Make sure your body language is towards your child where they see you are actively listening to them. You're making eye contact with them and you're showing that you care about what they're trying to express to you. And that's a big part of actively listening because also you're modeling to them what you expect when you're talking to them or giving them a directive or another authority figure is talking to them and speaking to them. The next one is setting healthy boundaries. In the beginning, creating boundaries can feel restrictive for children. They'll oftentimes push back and sometimes it's frustrating even for us because we have to continue to redirect, consistently say the same thing over again. And it's easier to just kind of let them do what they want, right? But setting healthy boundaries does promote safety. If we're in the living room and that's the play area, you can't go by the couch. That's the boundary. This is your area to do whatever you want to do. But if you go by the couch, you're going to get in trouble, right? Because why? Maybe the edge of the couch, they can hurt themselves. Maybe they engage in risky behaviors where they are jumping off of the couch and it's unsafe, right? So setting healthy boundaries, it can feel restrictive at the beginning, but it does promote a safe environment for them to thrive. Maybe they may engage with a dangerous toy that they shouldn't be playing with, or it's not age appropriate for them to play with. So you have to kind of set that boundary. Finally, we discussed this also in our last presentation with the 0 to 5, where we were talking about healthy relationship. And we looked at Erik Erikson's psychosocial stages of development. And the first one talked about security and trust. The other piece is when we're setting healthy boundaries, eventually our kids can trust and feel secure that we're keeping them safe. And this area that they're playing in, that our mom is allowing us to play in, is safe because I'm not getting hurt, right? And then consistency and discipline is the next one, establishing clear rules and consequences for unacceptable behaviors while also reinforcing positive behaviors. Reinforcing positive behaviors does not always have to look like going to get ice cream. Realistically, with everything going on in the world, how often can we take them to get ice cream? Maybe some people have the flexibility of taking them every day and some don't. I don't. I have an 18-month-old. But smiling, saying, "Yay, you did it. I'm so proud of you. You're so smart. Give me a high five. I loved when you put your clothes away." Or I loved when you pulled your pants up or used the potty. right? I love when you said thank you. I love when you didn't put your hands on your friend in an unsafe way, right? All those things are other examples of positive rewards that you can give your child to show and encourage positive behavior. Even stickers, if you have stickers on hand, they love stickers. But then also when they're doing something that's not appropriate, we also have to make sure we're setting those consequences for them, whatever that may look like. Sure. And as I shared earlier, while this group is, we're figuring out how to be better parents, we're figuring out how to support our kids, right? The other piece of that is, how do we show up for ourselves? How do we support ourselves? How do we love ourselves? How do we set boundaries for ourselves so we can be the best parents that we can be? When we're not sleeping well and we're tired and we're overstimulated, that's going to that's going to have an effect. That's going to show up in other areas. When you're tired and you're sleepy because you gave everything you could to your kid and your family, you're going to be more irritable. You're going to be more emotional. You're going to be more reactive. And you're going to be sometimes more angry. So it's important to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves. So most of the remaining of this presentation, we're going to look at those healthy boundaries and how do we show ourselves more self-love. Self-love is a fuel that allows an individual to reach their full potential and is filled with compassion, grace, and gentleness. Making space and prioritizing ourselves allows us to embrace our lives completely and wholeheartedly. Our identities as a parent is not our sole identity. You are you as well. You are a sister. You are a community member. You are a brother. You are a daughter. You are an artist. You are a coach. You're more than just your role as a parent. Self love is learning to extend kindness towards ourselves, and even when we struggle and suffer. It is also extending forgiveness to ourselves, even when we make mistakes. It's giving ourselves permission to find and believe in our strengths and our gifts. Sometimes it means putting ourselves first. Ooh, I'm going to say that again. Sometimes it means putting ourselves first and making space for our own wants and needs. And it involves creating healthy boundaries. Are you guys still with me? Okay. And next, we're going to have a mindfulness moment. Oh, I want to read this quote first. Boundaries empower you to create space for self care, personal growth, and maintaining your identity within a relationship. Boundaries empower you, excuse me, to create space for self care, personal growth, and maintaining your identity within a relationship. Parents need real moments of solitude and self reflection to balance out how much of ourselves we give away. For a few minutes, I want us to take a moment. If you can, go to a place that's quiet. if you can. I also want you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. As you work to improve your self-love, self-awareness, incorporating healthy boundaries for yourself as a parent and as an individual, here are 7 elements I want you to keep in mind. Think about, reflect on where you started when you first had your child or children. Or reflect, think about when you first learned your child had special needs. Think about what have you already accomplished to support your child. Take a moment to think about that. And what are you accomplishing each day? Close your eyes and really reflect. When we meditate, there's 2 components to this because mindfulness is a form of meditation. And we're being mindful of ourselves as parents right now. And there's 2 pieces to meditation. It's awareness and acceptance. So the first part is being aware of your surroundings, what I'm saying to you, thinking about that, noticing what's coming up for you, noticing what emotions may be coming up for you as you reflect on your first beginning, your first start of being a parent or learning about your child. And I also want you to be aware of how every day you're supporting your child, even in this moment. And the other piece is acceptance. However you feel, whatever emotion is coming up for you, I want you to accept it. Because that's where you are right now. And that's okay. Number 2, reflect, think about what motivates you and gives you energy and what takes your energy away. Reflect, think about what motivates you. Is it the smile on your child's face? Is it when your child gives you a hug? Is it when somebody acknowledges you're doing well? What motivates you and gives you energy? And what takes your energy away? Next, I want you to visualize the person you want to be. What does that person look like physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally? Visualize the person you want to be. Next, begin to follow where your passions go and your interest leads you. Follow where your passion and your interest leads you. Think about what you're passionate about. Think about what you're interested in. Let go of your inner critic and any self-doubt. Let go of your inner critic and any self-doubt. Number 6, choose a lifetime of meaning and be purposeful with your actions. Who are you outside of your role as a parent? Be purposeful. Make space for a lifetime of meaning. And do that every day with your actions. And lastly, be proud of your power, your story, your resilience during challenging times. Be proud of your resilience, your story, and your power during challenging times. Take a moment. And now I want you to take a deep breath in, like you're smelling roses. Hold it and blow it out like you're blowing out candles. Take a deep breath in, hold it, and let it out. One more time. Take a deep breath in, hold it, and let it out. Good job. Nice job. The next one is 10 signs you would benefit from better boundaries. 10 signs you would benefit from better boundaries. Boundaries come in different shapes, sizes, and forms. There are physical boundaries that provide space and control over our bodies. And then there is emotional boundaries. That means we need to take responsibility for our own feelings. And then there are boundary violations. Boundary violations can occur in the context of over functioning. What does over functioning mean, Ebony? I'm glad you asked. A dynamic where a parent takes on an excessive amount of responsibility, often to the point of neglecting their own needs and well-being. Another boundary violation is people pleasing and enabling. Enabling can occur when one person supports or allows another person's harmful or destructive behaviors to continue, preventing them from taking the consequences of their behaviors and hindering their ability to develop healthier coping mechanisms. Now, you know your children better than I do, but sometimes we fall into the trap of rescuing them, making excuses for them, and covering up, which enables them to have the ability to know when they are wrong, develop social skills, and also develop healthier coping strategies for managing their emotions and feelings. Boundary violations may also occur when we take care of everyone else but ourselves. Ooh, I'm guilty of that sometimes. I'm working on that. These violations can result in underlying resentment and anger, sometimes towards our spouse or sometimes even towards our kids. We get upset. Feelings of low self worth, disappointment, and power imbalances between you and other family members. Healthy, clear, and appropriate boundaries grow from us loving ourselves more. That's going back to that self love. I'll say that again. Healthy, clear, and appropriate boundaries grow from us loving ourselves more. The following statements reflect ways that our boundaries may be either too weak or too rigid. So I'm going to go over the 10 signs, and I want you to take a mental note. If this aligns with you, just say ouch. You're on mute. I can't hear you. It's okay. But if it resonates with you, take a mental note of that. And maybe this is something that you need to work on. And does it have any connection to you feeling overstimulated or upset or irritable or disappointed or frustrated or angry? Number one, I get angry when my children, family do not listen or do what I want after I keep telling them. I get angry when my children and family do not listen or do what I want after I keep telling them. I feel responsible for making sure everyone in my family is happy and okay. I feel responsible for making sure everyone in my family is happy and okay. I often feel resentful and angry in my relationships. I shouldn't have to ask for what I need and want. Others should already know. I don't want to bother or inconvenience other people. Giving and helping my family is what makes me unique and worthy. I often sacrifice my wants and needs for other people. I do not let others in to know the real me. If other people knew what I was thinking, they would not like me. I don't trust others and close myself off quickly to relationships. If it hits you, just say ouch. I do not let others in to know the real me. When we have a child who has special needs, even if we have a child who don't, we need a community. We need a support system. We need to learn how to ask for help because if not, we will burn out. And if we're overstimulated and angry and tired and frustrated, our children is going to feel that. Our other relationships with our spouses or other children or colleague is going to be impaired. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say no. Just no. No, I can't make it to the birthday party. No, I can't make it on the play date. If you're checking in with yourself, it was a long week, you feel overstimulated, you know you really just need to kind of hang out at the house and take care of yourself to get ready for the week, it's okay to say no. Because you're saying no to them, but you're saying yes to yourself. Number 3, I often feel resentful and angry in my relationships. I see that often when people have a difficult time communicating how they feel. And sometimes others, they don't know that they're causing you harm or making you upset and angry with their actions because you're not communicating that to them. For them, they don't feel like it's a problem. Something that I like to use all the time, I use it with my clients in individual and group therapy, is using I statements. I statements is a form of positive communication where it's a structured statement where you're not shaming, blaming, or threatening anyone else. You are just being accountable for your own emotions. And it's I feel maybe angry, upset, insert the emotion when, and you say the situation. I feel upset when I'm the only one who picks him up from daycare. What's the solution? Maybe we can take turns, or maybe we can ask for help. That's just an example of an I statement. And it's in two things. Some will say, well, Ebony, what if they don't care? And I say it and it doesn't mean anything for them. Okay, well, then it still works out in your favor because now either they're going to change the behavior from you communicating how you feel, or if they don't change the behavior, now you know how you will need to problem solve with someone who's not listening to your wants and needs. Sure. And then lastly, healthy boundaries affirmations. Affirmations is like a form of positive self talk. Positive self talk comes from the therapeutic treatment modality called cognitive behavioral therapy. They call it CBT for short. And we have so many negative signals and messages that we tell ourselves, and it affects our mood and our mental health. That we have to challenge that negative thinking and those negative thoughts with positive thinking and positive self talk. So I'm going to encourage and challenge you to take a picture of this. I'll share it with Vicky. Write it down in your phone, write it down somewhere in your room or your home, on your refrigerator, and begin to say these positive affirmations. Because what it will do is it'll start challenging any negative thinking that you have, and you'll start to believe what you tell yourself. Trust me on this. The first one is my feelings are important and relevant. My feelings are important and relevant. I have a right to be heard and take up space. It's okay to say no without explanation. I can set boundaries when I feel overwhelmed. I deserve to be treated with respect. And I can ask for help when I need it. You have to talk to yourself. Being a parent is difficult at times, especially if you have a child that requires more attention and more resources from you. It's important that you take care of yourself. It's important that you ask for help. It's important that you say no when it's appropriate and understand that your feelings are important and relevant. Your only role in this life is not just parent. You are you too. Dr. Seuss said, "You are you, and that's truer than true." Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate you allowing me into your space to take up space with you. And I'm open for any questions or any comments or any thoughts.
Thank you, Ebony. That was, I think you hit a lot of important notes, for us as individuals, as parents, as even as just people out there in the world. But I just want to. This brought up for me because I'm a parent of two now adult children with disabilities. When my children were younger, and even today to some extent, I always felt like I couldn't say no to things,
Mm-hmm.
because there's this, um, pressure, whether it's a self-imposed pressure that I put on myself or an expectation that I had to do everything I could,
Sure.
for the benefit of my children. And I did a lot of things, but I always felt that it wasn't enough or that I couldn't say no. And this came up for me recently when I read something another parent put on a, um, like it was a Facebook group. And she said she's a parent of four children with special needs. And she said, I just want to
Mm,
show other parents that it's okay to say no sometimes. It's okay to say no to that extra, request, or an extra therapy session that's not at a good time for you, or
sure.
this or that. And a lot of people responded to her with comments like, wow, I really needed to hear that. Thank you for sharing that. So I think it is something that we need to think about. And I also appreciate your um, saying we should ask for help when we need it. We could ask for help from our spouse, from family members, um, and very specific kind of help too. Sometimes it's helpful to ask for very specific things, like I need you to come over and help me, with this at this
Mm-hmm.
specific time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because sometimes people don't know how to help, or they think that
Sure.
they're not qualified to help you if you have a child with special needs. But, usually we just need pretty basic help. And then
Sure.
finally, I'll throw in a little shout out to some of the services that we provide at Family Focus Resource Center. We have support groups.
Mm-hmm.
And those are great places to talk to other parents who might be going through similar things, or just use it as an opportunity to, share your frustrations, or vent, or ask for support, ask for ideas. Those are great places to do that. And if your child might qualify for other services, like through school or through regional center, you can also ask for appropriate services through those agencies. Respite care is one suggestion, or social recreation. So your child will be engaged in a fun activity, and you can, take a break during that 45-minute gymnastics class or something like that. So those are just
Mm-hmm.
some suggestions that I have from the perspective of someone who, helps facilitate some support groups. But I want to thank you for your presentation, and we want to
Sure.
take comments and questions. So I'm going to stop the recording right now so that people can ask questions.